Welcome to the Temple of Flame. On today, Faith Black Lights, we're doing something a little different.
So, I did a review for this, and that should be posted. Check out the honeys and syrups playlist if you're interested. But I transferred this, which is this huge open glass top, like so, into this bottle, so it's actually usable. This is, by the way, from Dripped, the Hive Inferno. That's not in there anymore. It's actually this that's in here, so I can use it. But this, the honey that was in here, is easily one of my favorites. Really, really good. So rather than trying to take this spoon and dig out all of the honey that's in there, I said, you know what? We could do something really cool here, because I happen to have this. So we have Habanero Infused honey, okay? And here we have a mix of, there was very little of the actual red pepper, which I think is Calabrian. So I had some smoked habanero and some red Caribbean habanero flakes from Heat Hot Sauce Shop. There is a review of that, by the way, as well, if you want to see it. And so I just threw it all together in here. So this is mostly the red Caribbean. There is a little bit of smoked habanero. There is a little bit of the Calabrian as well. Oh boy, really, it smells of habanero. So what we're gonna do is, since we have this on the bottom, I thought, why don't we do this? Why don't we make habanero infused, honey infused habanero flakes? So that's what we're gonna do. And we're just going we just want to make sure it's all covered. Okay. Make sure it's all wet. We're going to throw in some more. All this dust is getting ready to make me sneeze. Alright. I have had, it's just sitting right on top. We're just going to leave it like that though. Okay? Leave it like so. Oops. Make sure it actually covers it. Okay. Oh, there's tons of this. Wow, there's a lot of it. Okay. So, what we need to do is tamp it down here. Get some Q-picks here. Oh boy. Yeah, that's okay. So we're gonna let this sit in here, I'd say at least a fortnight. And by that I mean the time term, not the video game franchise. So I've had it before on this channel. I've had honey, the hot honey chili flake peppers, and I thought, you know what if I do this? What if we let this soak, let this gel, let this merge up in here for, can you see it? There we go. For a while, right? A while. And and then we make a pizza with it, just to see how that goes. Because I don't like runny honey on pizza, but I thought it'd be really, okay, I thought it'd be kind of funny. I thought it'd be funny, right? Habanero infused, honey infused Habanero Flakes. Why not? What could go wrong, right? So, we will be back here after some time has passed, and we will throw it on a pizza, and the next time you see me, we'll be taking a look at it to see just how it came out. Alright, well, I don't know how close we got to a fortnight because I didn't put a date on this, but you can see the smells so unbelievable. But you can see it's wet and glistening and definitely smells of both honey and habanero. This is the Cedar Valley Habanero, and it's in this bottle here. I've already eaten up this one. There will be a review for both dripped Habanero and Cedar Valley as well at some point. If you have missed any of the honey videos, you can see them in the hot honey playlist. Honeys and syrups. So the dripped Inferno is probably my favorite overall hot honey. It's quite good. So I thought, all right, it is. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that National. There's so I do a lot of off holidays in this series, and you know, we did National Mango Day, for instance, and we did National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day, I think. So pizza is so popular, it actually has at least two holidays I found when I was researching holidays. The oven's ready. So there is a cheese pizza, and the date of posting this is the Pepperoni Pizza Day for 2025. So, okay. Oh, look how thick and sludgy that is. Okay. So we're just going to try to figure out a way to. It's like, oh, it's so sticky. Okay. We're putting all of it on here though. That actually worked pretty well. Maybe let's just keep doing that. And I'll just keep it rolling here. I'd like this idea. I think it needs to be slightly more liquidy, but this will, I think, probably do exactly what I want to while it's baking. It's clumped up now, but as it heats up, it will loosen up slightly, or it'll be a disaster. We're cooking by the seat of our pants here. How did this get all the way over there? Where are you? There we go. Want to make sure we're getting lots of it on here, because this really is supposed to be more of the Habanero Infused, honey infused Habanero Flake pizza, more so than. We're getting a good amount on here. Let's see. And I'm gonna throw. Oh, that's a good amount there. Make sure I get all this out of here. Yep. Okay. Here we go. See, it's a little bit more liquidy here, but not really a lot. A little bit. Look at this. Pretty nice. So we have an unblemished pepperoni. Can't have that. This was an interesting experiment. I wasn't sure how it was going to work. Let me taste this. Interesting. Okay, that's nice. Okay, so we are going to drizzle just a little bit of this on there. Don't really need to, but we're going to anyway. We probably can't even make it out. Alright, so gonna toss this bad mamma jamma into the oven here, and we will reconvene in about 20 minutes.
Alrighty, and here it is. Fresh out the oven. It's a touch hot yet, so we're gonna leave it on the tray. I definitely feel like my oven has hot spots. It's got a hot zone to it. You can see it definitely, the doneness of the pizza there is very dark, and up here it's quite a bit lighter. That's fine. I don't really care that much. All right, so I let it go a little bit longer than it suggested. So I wanted to make sure that and you can see here kind of what those peppers did. They mostly stayed in one place, but they did smooth out just a tick in some of these other places. And one of the really interesting things was, I was wondering how saturated the honey would get. No, I was wondering how saturated the chili flakes would get. That's why I was thinking initially a fortnight, but I didn't keep track very well. You can see with cutting it, now that it's heated up, I just got some on my table. Oh man, that's so good though. That's delicious. All right, so let's go with, let's start with, we're gonna start with one of the darker pieces. Well, probably the best DiGiorno pizza I've ever had. I mean, not super high bar, but the little bits of smoked habanero in here are really interesting. It is very temperature hot. I did let it sit for a little bit, but not long enough, clearly. It is delicious, so. I don't normally like the DiGiorno's, but this croissant crust I kind of like. Yeah. They get saturated. It's kind of like a consistency is really interesting. It almost reminds me of taffy, almost. Or maybe like a caramel, consistency wise. Super good though. I wish caramels tasted like that. Yeah, just quite a delight, I must say. This crust still isn't worth eating though, which is kind of where I find DiGiorno's pizzas falling for me generally. Look at that. It almost looks like Kalamata's. So, having said that, I don't know that I would be inclined to do exactly this thing again. What's really interesting is since these flakes have become rehydrated somewhat, there's a very strong red habanero flavor here. I wasn't necessarily expecting that. It's really good though. Got a little punch to it. This is gonna be better when it cools, I think. I'm eating this at just way too high of a temperature. It's a bit of a struggle. Did get a little bit of caramelization here and there on the honey. A little Maillard effect. Always nice to see. What might be the better way? Yeah. I need to ponder this. I think, I mean, it's sort of the sort of humorous thing that that whole idea of habanero infused, honey infused habanero. I was really curious how it was going to work out, and I can't say it's bad by any means. And I was really super curious to see what it was going to do. I think maybe I'll just have one more piece, maybe one of the smaller ones. Still plenty hot. But I think for distribution, the way to do this would be to get honey powder and put the honey powder together with the chili flakes. And that way, you can more easily spread it and distribute it. Right now, I've got these pockets of chili flakes. And while they're good, I think my preference would be to have them spread out a little bit. But it was a fun idea. You know, I like to anyway, play around, try new stuff, experiment. You know, sometimes I'll just think up what would happen if I did this thing. Sometimes the results are really good. Sometimes they don't work at all. And then we have this, where it's kind of in the middle. Look at the bottom of this, though. Got that nice bit of crisp to it. Ooh. Oh, that's lovely. But I think it's also just because of the way that, you know, I engage with chili flakes, which is probably the same way most people do. Which is they're in a shaker for a reason, right? So we take it and we shake it and we try to get some even distribution on the pizzas rather than having it clotted up. I think it might have been a little bit better if I would have drizzled a touch more honey as well. I was just really worried it was going to liquefy too much. Like I didn't want it to kind of pool out. You can see there's nothing on this tin right now. See, there's no puddles of anything. No grease, no honey, none of that. And that was what I wanted. I didn't want to have just a whole bunch of stuff, you know, a whole bunch of liquid just kind of seeping through there. But it could have stood a little bit more honey. So I'm going to call this this experiment, I think, it's kind of a mixed success. Those bits where it's caramelized kind of the under bottom of the honey underneath that chili flake, and the chili flake is saturated, where you get that little bit of crisp, is phenomenal. That part, unqualified success. I think really just it comes, like the flavor is really good. It just comes down to distribution. Like you saw when I was putting it on the pizza, it is not very spreadable. You know, it's not very evenly distributed. I think that is maybe the only downfall I have for this. So I might try to locate some honey powder, because I'm really curious to see what would happen if I were to get some like granulated honey, if I can find it somewhere, and mix it in with the chili flakes. So who knows, you may be seeing a similar video to this where I actually do attempt to make it with powdered honey. I don't know how powdered honey comes, if it's like a small bag where I can easily maneuver it, or if it's like I have to get a lot of it. I don't know. I'm literally thinking of this idea as I'm filming this. So if I do decide to go forward, though, I very likely will do a video on it, because I've got a lot of pepper flakes left. Plenty of room for experimentation, for sure. And I want to use up the non-smoked version first. Smoked version on the pizza is just phenomenal. I don't believe, though, it would have been a good idea to try to mix it with the honey. I think that would have been kind of foul, actually. I think this would be better if you had it somewhere where you could make like a layer. So maybe like on a chicken sandwich or something like that, and just have a nice layer of this stuff. I think that would be actually really quite good. It really did a really interesting thing hydrating these chili flakes, and I really like what that did. It totally brought out the red habanero flavor, though, to an extent I was not expecting. So yeah, we'll call it a partial success, and we'll leave it right there, and we'll see what happens if I come up with another cooking experiment, I guess. But before I leave you, as always, of course, go forward in peace to serve the flame.